Hey there, I'm Eli. I'm a co-founder of Marky. In the last video, we showed you how to create a post with Max. In this video, we're going to show you how to use workflows to get results even faster. So let's jump into it. To start off, we're going to look at what a workflow is. A workflow is simply a preset chat thread with context. Why do they matter? Well, they help you get results faster with less prompting and also make processes repeatable. So as you start using workflows, there's a few places that you're going to want to know about of how you can access and use these workflows. First off, you're going to get some workflows that are at the beginning right here. You can run any of these and just get started using workflows like that. Now there's a whole bunch of more workflows in the marketplace. And if you open up your workflows, there's a marketplace here and there's a whole bunch of community made ones and more to explore there. But to get started, let's just check out what a few workflows can do for you. So I'll start by using the audit my content strategy workflow. And we're just going to run that and we'll come back in a minute. Sweet. So I ran that workflow and you can see here that it looked at a lot of things in my current workspace in Marquee. It did some research, looked at some social media stuff, and it did a comprehensive audit of my current content strategy. And let's see what it came up with. So it says I have a B plus. That's okay, I guess. We could work on it a little bit. And it says it's strong on community and trust, but okay, I could focus more on generic awareness or shifting from that to inventory specific utility, which is good because I don't actually have, this is an example account. I don't have anything about our specific inventory. So this is great feedback. It says that I could add some topics that talk about specific cars or kind of like specific information about what our pricing or how we structure and sell our cars. And it gives me actually this breakdown in terms of each area. And it talks about new trends in this coming year, and it suggested some strategy updates. So things to retire or disable and things to adjust. And then what's also really nice is it asks, hey, I could do these adjustments for you if you want. And so I could just say, yeah, sure, go for it. And it will update my account with all these updates. So that's one workflow. Let's check out one more workflow and see what that can do. I'm going to open up workflows here and let's just browse the marketplace. So here I can scroll through, look at what are some recommended workflows for me. I could audit my socials. That could be pretty cool. Building out my knowledge base, or let's do, cool. This one looks great. Calibrate my brand voice. I haven't really looked at my brand voice for this business, so I think that could be really helpful to differentiating ourselves as a brand and having a great brand voice. This is also great if I'm not really sure about, I'm not really liking the content voice that currently is going out. I can run this one. So I can see information about that workflow in this modal here. I can see what the goal is. I can see individual steps, and each step has additional information to the to Max on how to run that step. So I can kind of drill in deeper, but let's just run this and see how it does. Okay, so I finished this workflow and it looked at a bunch of stuff in my workspace and it kind of found, okay, what's your current tone? Kind of how are you writing your content currently? And it can actually look at all the posts you've created thus far and edits you do and all that kind of stuff. And then it has some feedback about, how could we adjust this? Should it be more sales forward or do you want it to be more community forward? And so I gave it some information and it actually updated the memory on kind of some things that I want it to remember on how I want to talk. And then it talks about, it updated my brand voice based on my feedback and then also gave some next steps of, okay, now we can do these adjustments. For example, one thing is I said that it asks, do you want to talk about a specific Ford model? And I said, let's talk about Mustang as the focus. So it updated my business profile to hone in on Ford Mustangs as a primary focus area of my dealership. So that's how you can run a workflow. Let's look at how you can create a new workflow or just find workflows. So we talked about how you can launch workflows from here. Now let's look at the marketplace a little bit more. So I'm going to open up the workflows and there's two separate spots here. There's my workflows and then there's the marketplace. Let's go to the marketplace and this is how you find new workflows and discover ones. So right here, you can search a workflow. So let's say I want to do an audit of something. I can search that and I get all these workflows that are related with auditing my content. I can filter, so I can search by workflows that help me manage my information, or maybe I want to review my current strategy, so I can do that filter. And here's all the ones that are related to reviewing content. And there's also other sections here. I can look at collections. These are kind of preset batches of workflows. I can look at all the ones created by Marky, and I could run any of these workflows. And then I can also just search general workflows that are out in the community and find new ones. You can open up any of these. So this is a blog to social posts workflow created by Scott. And I can look at kind of the overall summary of what this workflow does. I can also look at the steps and kind of what it does at each step. And I can add it to my workflow, to my workflows. So if I like this workflow and I want to run it, more than once, I could install that. And now it's going to be in my own personal library of workflows. So I have it here, and let's go find a few other ones. And so maybe generating a batch of content. I like that one. I'm going to install that. And maybe writing a blog post. I'd want to do that. So you can find and save them basically into your own personal library. And now it's just easier to access, easier to run that way. Now that's how you can find new workflows. Let's look at how you can create your own workflows. So I'm going to be in the new chat here, and say we want to make a workflow for something specific. So let's see, we're a dealership. Maybe we want to have a workflow to easily convert an image into a video. Let's create a workflow for that. So you can just tell Max, create a new workflow where I want to be able to provide an image and I want you to turn it into a video with audio. Ask me about what image I want to use at the beginning of the workflow and use my brand details and brand colors when appropriate. So I'm going to send that in. All right, so it created a new workflow. Let's check this out. It said it created a workflow convert image to branded video with audio. And I can see what steps it has here. It starts out by asking for an image, and then it figures out the brand and aligns it, and then it creates that video and all that kind of stuff. So I asked if I wanted to run that workflow. I'm like, sure, why not? Gave it this image here. And let's look at what it came up with.
The timeless beauty of the Mustang, driving innovation, supporting our community. Harrington Ford.
Sweet. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty good for a first batch. But let's look at that workflow that we just created. So it created that workflow. I can see it here. Now, let's say you also want to just start from scratch. You can do that. You can create a new workflow here and type in the title. Maybe I want this one to be image to video, and you can add some details about what you want it to do. Even select the icon. You can choose what category. So this would be create category. You can set the goal, and then you can also choose steps. So you could start it off by displaying the message like ask the user for an image, and then add step. And you can look at all the different things that Max can do through these steps. And so there's like creating designs, doing research, getting social information, get some video kind of stuff. So like say we want to generate video from that image, use the image provided to generate that video. So you can also build workflows here. You can edit your other workflows using this edit modal. And say you want to access these workflows in other locations, you may have to be the pro level, but you can make it organization wide to be able to access this workflow across your businesses, your workspaces. And then you can also make it public. Public unlisted just makes it easy to share the workflow. You can provide a direct link. And then there's also just public, which anyone on the marketplace should be able to find it and use it. So that's a great way if you want to give back to the community a little bit. You can set your workflow that you create to public, and then anyone can find that and then run it on their account. Now, one last thing as you're starting to use these workflows is you can organize them a little bit. So if you have a lot in your workflows area, you can drag and drop and create groups. So I can make like a favorites group. and that's going to be in favorites, and then I can organize these and drag them around and kind of organize my workflows how I want. I can also, if you have some that you created but they're not showing up, maybe you uninstalled them earlier, you can kind of see all your workflows here, sort them, and do some sorting, things like that, using to make your workflows a little bit easier to manage. So that's how you can create and find or run workflows in your Markey account. Hopefully this helped you understand how you can start using Max to jumpstart building up your strategy, doing research for you, analyzing your socials, helping you create content. We're super excited to get this out to y'all. Hopefully you'll be able to start using this over the next few weeks. Let us know what you think, and hopefully you learned something in this video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.